Hello and welcome. We're looking at Bitcoin Cash divided by Theta and the price back on the date of the 4th of July 2018, a little over 1 year ago. The ratio, well, you needed 4,605 Theta to accumulate one Bitcoin Cash. And this would have been the entirety of it starting only on May 28th of that year. Of course, both coins we're trading before along this point. I'm using the Huobi exchange only because it's got more data for Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin, but I'm also using the data for Binance. I think I am anyway. At least that's how I programmed it in when I wrote it in. And interestingly, if you do trade this ratio, or anything with Bitcoin Cash for that matter, the withdrawals on Huobi is 10 times cheaper. It's .0001 rather than .001 that would be common on places like Binance, Bittrex, and Poloniex. All right then. So the volatility you'd see at this point, and this you'd see, okay, we had these lows where it was 3,400, and then it goes up to 62, and we went down to 4,000. Now at 4,600. Well, you get a few 25% moves, and that's what I'm going to be looking for on this. Is what I have, this is automatically ready to calculate a 25% move for me. And we'll see how this goes from this point on. As I'll be looking forward to either go down to 3684, which would be down to about here. So as a trader at this point, I'd be putting, okay, set alert right here. I would 3671, close enough. Oh, 5756. Okay, set alert somewhere up here. And see how it goes. And when you do this, this is an 8-hour time frame, so you'd be checking basically every 3 times a day. At this stage here, okay, 55.17, you're close. You only need 240 basis points to go. Maybe you wait around, stick, see what you can get, see what you can find. That's even closer at 56.42. And you're hoping for a better number. And sometimes you'll miss it. We'll see. There's going to be missed here, or a better number will be taken if we're looking for an exact number. Now it's close. And you can say to yourself, oh, 57, 56, maybe 59 or 61 might be more likely. Now, technically speaking, that's going to be interesting to see. I'm just going to check the rounding of this because I mean, I think I got to go with it, but I'm just curious to see what the exact number is. 57, 55, 65 is, okay, it's on the other side. So there's a differential of, uh, yeah, I'm going to take this one. So that would be a trade that would come into play at 57.56. So I'll use this to determine where the next price point will come, and then keep on moving within. So we'll now put this line up here. And from this point on, I'll be looking for a break below 46.05 or above 71.95. And let's see, what did this low hit? 50. Oh, we're looking for 46. So you go through a few periods in here, just waiting. Now it's breaking out 66. It went up to 75. We're looking for 71.95. But obviously not hitting it at that stage and back to where we bought it before. So we could have sold there. We could have got a better deal. Or actually got a deal. Now it's going back up 66. There we are, 71.79. We're looking for 71.95. We'll get 77.53. Which means I'm going to be looking for a down move at 6,200. 6202 is what I got calculated. 96.91. Going furthermore to the upside. And this low in here comes in at close at 64, so that was not good enough. Not low enough, as another way of putting it. Do we get there? Okay, so obviously another buy is going to come in, but before that happens, you would have ended this hour with the price down to 61.04, which is technically lower than the buy number of 62. I've already spoiled what's going to happen next, but the next buy zone would be 48.83 on a 20, and it'd be 48.45, so it would work out to be another buy, which means now down to 38.76 for a buy, 60.56 for a sell, and it's always a buy and a sell, one for another, but just for easy reference, if it goes down, we'll call it a buy and up for a sale. And when it goes down, that means you'd be selling theta for Bitcoin Cash, and when it goes up, you'd be selling Bitcoin Cash for theta. So 60.56 or 48.45. We can see a little bit of an uptrend, but correcting. Success, nice correction, and there's an attempt to break higher, and 60.56 seems like in a reasonable spot you think it would go to if it gets above it. There's 58. It pierced there. There we have it at 65.8. That's just a difference of only 2 basis points. That means now I'll be looking for 48.46 or 75.73 for the next trade venture. And just chopping in, hanging in there, showing a little bit of weakness from the high. And still not low enough at the 48. Okay, what did this low hit? The close was 49.42, so not quite good enough. 48.71, not quite good enough. And look at the rally from that point. But you know what? That'll happen. And now it's okay. Did that rally? That just got back to where you came from. So missed opportunity on the buy there. That's part of this game, especially when you look for larger percentage moves along the way. And what was this low at? This low or closed at 48.34. Well, I'm waiting for 48.46, so that would be a buy. 38.74 or 6,054 will be what I'll be looking for next. And just, okay, that was a big gain. Let's see, where does the 6,000 come in? Not there. 62.23, that would be a sell zone. So after that, I have to remember that number. This is the spreadsheet, or that's where I write it down. And from 62.23, it's either 49.78 or 77.79. And okay, I got other numbers from before. I think that was from a different example that I was doing. But anyway, we start at 46.05. It goes, so there's a sell, sell, buyback, buyback, sell, buyback, sell. And we're moving on here. 49.78 on the buy, 77.79 on the sell. And it doesn't go up above 7. And okay, there's a spot where it's going to hit the 49.78. It does so at 45.39. Which means down to 36.31 or up to 56.74. And there's 36.31 maybe before this rally. We'll see. What's the close here? Nope, not quite. 36.73, so you're missing out on that buy. But then it goes down on this day here. It goes down to 34.90, which is where you would buy. And we are getting closer and closer now to November 30th, as that was the big theta day. November 22nd, 8 days away. Not like you know anything big's going to happen. Maybe some analyst says this thing is going to crash like no other. That's what the result would be if theta would have a big gain. But our next play from here, 27.92 or 43.63. And there we have it. What happened this period before? Well, this was a close here of 30. Well, that's 33. We're 21.32. The close beforehand was 29. Yeah, so we needed to go. So there's where you get a super deal. I was looking for 27.92, and I got 21.32. But I can see below it was actually down to like 1,200. I mean, it's already up like enormously. That's how big of a move that this worked out to be. You still get a good portion of it. But when markets go crazy like that, there can be some fantastic opportunities and trading this. So from this point on, 1706 or 2665 are the two numbers that come up. Close at 15. Not quite there. We'll just give it some more time and just a lot of waiting at this point because this was going on here now at November the 30th, as stated, and now we're on December the 11th. Almost a couple weeks later, okay, Theta, not much is going on. We're getting close to that 17, cheaper price, but not quite. Still off from that 26, and I should be moving that line, but I'll do that. There we have it. So 27.32. That means 21.86 and 34.15 are the next two levels to trade at. Let's see where we go. Okay, 38.45. That would be another trade right there. But actually, what happened the period before? 37.61 would be the trade. That means 3,009 and 4,701 will be up next, either or. And we'll just wait and see which it is. It's going to be one of them. Although 3009, what was this close here? 3020. Near, as one of those game show types of things would say. But here, how about this one? Not even close, it looks like. 3054, yeah, not close. Low volatility, lots of waiting. 2981 here. That'll work. So 2385, 3726 would be where I'd be looking next. And 2787, or actually we're looking for 23. It's a little bit of a decline. 37 was the number I was thinking of. I got the numbers, of course, easily for me to see. You can't see the spreadsheet. 2490, not 2460. We're looking for 2385, and there it is. 2346 is the price. And we are dated on January 24th, so we are now just a few months away. I'm looking for 1877 or 2,933 on the ratio. There's 1928, but it rallies from there. Do we break that low? We're going to need to buy. Couple resistance hits. 1947, not quite. 1862, quite, because 1877 would be the move of a 25% play, which is 100 divided by 125, or 0.8, multiply last price. Next up, it's 1490 or 2328. As we continue on, and it goes down, we're looking for 1490. What did I push? Did I push all the way to now? I did. I'll pause it and go back. And 1490 is what I'm looking for. So this would be the 1464, which would be the next play. And that brings the next price points in at 1171 and 1830. And let's see where we go. And we're at 1295, but not quite. Now it's going up, 1612, but we need 1830. And now you're near last trade, nothing going on. And 1217, not good enough though. That's not even close. That's somewhat close. 1171, 1202. Yeah, almost. That'll work. Took 17 days to get there, but that's what it took. So at 1067, it's either 854 or 1,334. And 916, 901, not quite. 880, not there. And the market's rallying, and it's just near that last trade line, so just nothing to see there. But this was an interesting day. I went to 722, so that's definitely lower. And as a ratio trader, that would mean at this stage, you would be having a lot less theta ownership and a significant higher ownership of Bitcoin Cash. And those extra coins are going to be needed for when the price goes up higher for some amazing sell opportunities. But next, we're looking for 578 or 903. And there we go, 968 qualifies, which puts 774 or 1,210 as the next target. I'll just move this up as well. 1174, almost there. 1185, even getting closer, but retracing. 1220, that does it. 1210 was the number. That puts 976 and 15 and a quarter. As where we go from here. And a decent amount of days, but breaking through. Not quite at 15. 1486. Not far. There we have it. 1528. And after that, I'm going to be looking for 1222 or 1910. 1222 or 1910. So I'm just waiting for the market to do its thing, and that's doing its thing. The day before below 1800. So 2129, I might as well sell. That means I'll trade again at either 1,703 or 2,661. And it's right there, just a day later, 24 hours later, now 2,738, another sell. So when you look at your ownership of how many THETA and how many Bitcoin Cash you owned here on the second week of March when it was in the 700s compared to now, it's a little different. Your THETA ownership is back higher significantly. Wow, you'd be looking at your levels. And yeah, you have a lot of Bitcoin Cash back there, but it's definitely less now. I'm looking next for 2190 or 3,423. And we will just let the market do its thing. And you're going. Last time it was just like one day before you did it. It was on April the 3rd. Well, here we would be looking at April the 10th or 15th rather. So that's a couple weeks almost not trading. 28. I mean, you're just at that line. You're pretty much at. It could take a while before one comes in, and it is taking a while. But that's part of this crypto game, and I didn't know in advance it was going to do this. It's like, wow. I have to scroll in this a little bit. Look at this big sideways consolidation. The only range you can play, even then, the range is playing down to 24 low change to buy. Support's going higher. But 28.15 is where we stand. 34.23 up. Long ways to go. 21.90 down. Again, long ways to go. We're over 3,000, but 31, 32. It's getting closer. 33. Okay. Nope, not quite. Another chance. We're back to 33.86. Looking for 34.23. We found it. We can now put this in here. 28.35 or 4,430 would be the next level. And the date, this was from April 3rd. When did this happen on? This would have been May the 8th. You would have waited over one calendar month to make a trade. And now we're getting close maybe to that 44.30. Higher volatility, but obviously a big volatility compared to where we were. We're waiting for 28.35 down. We almost got the sell, almost got the buy, but neither on both. Now it's congesting and decent volatility at last trade area. So it was over a calendar month before on May the 8th. Now you'd be waiting May the 21st. But what you do on a period by period level is you just divide the two numbers together. And especially when you're in here, you're like, okay, it's this time frame, 8 hours later, you're really not expecting anything because you're such a long ways away. Now here, after this down move, you're like, okay, well maybe a buy order might come in. 28.35 it was at that point, but I have to wait for it to go back to that low, and then okay, it's close. So you know next period it might come in. It doesn't. And then now you're like, oh, okay, back to previous level. Let's wait a long more time because well, that's just the way it is. Well, close at 3, but no. More waiting. You waited a calendar month for one trade. Now we're looking at, what are we at for May 8th? We're looking at another one. We're like 6 days away from another calendar month. It would be June the 2nd. In fact, we're only a little over a calendar month to where we are today. And the price teaser, this is where it goes down to. So I know the 28.35 or another buy later is going to happen. And there's 29.13, but not quite. And there we have it. And that means 2,230, 2230, or 3,485. As we are now on June the 11th, about less than 40 days away from current. 32. It's close. We need 34.85. That's closer. As technically that would be, and so is that. But each time you're checking, you're hoping it goes up because you want to trade. That way you're like, oh man, it's going down. But whatever, market does what it does. Or doing what it's doing at that time. I guess does is a past tense when you're looking at it from this perspective. 35.12, I'm looking for 34.85, so that's over by 27 basis points, and that would be a trade. And for the next one, it'll either be below 28.10 or above 4,390. And we'd wait a bit. Okay, a little move up too close to the 4 as we are now entering July. We're just a couple weeks behind now. We'll see if we even get another one. I can't see the current line. We need to go 28.10 on the downside, so there's a trade at 2744. And we're now only 5 days away, which July, yeah, because it's July 14, I think we're on here. Yeah, we're on July 19th in real time, or my time, as I'm doing this. So if anything were to happen to be 21.95 and 34.30, I'm just going to scroll it to the end and see that this low is 25. So we would still be waiting. It's not too far below this right now, as it would turn out. This is a list of all the trades. So this would be a trade here. The first was just entry. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, that's 13, 15, 18, 20, 3, 28 trades. 28, and let's just remove this line, change the time frame to maybe that of the 3-day even. Okay, so we're looking at June of last year to this year. Okay, that's about 56 weeks maybe. On average, trade every almost 2 weeks, every 10, 11 days. And that's, of course, because I'm playing for 25%. If I was playing for 30, 40% gains, then there'd be less trades. And if I was playing for 10%, 9%, 15% plays, there'd be more. Of course, more on 8% than there would be 15%. And you could be playing these for 2, 3% moves or however, and so many different forms. Now, I don't think that there's any Bitcoin Cash cross exchanges, but in the future, there very easily might become such. But the volatility in having markets just move up and down from this point can just become so rewarding. You look at where you would be here financially as far as just trading it. And I look at this from the example of people in the hodling mindset, like, I don't want to trade, I don't want to trade. Yeah, okay. Well, if you just want to own Theta long term because you think it's going to be worth a lot more, and you think Bitcoin Cash is going to be the next big thing over Bitcoin, it's going to be worth more than Bitcoin. And I personally do think it will be a time worth more than Bitcoin. But if I'm just going to want to just have them and hold them, why not at least trade them back and forth against each other? And situations here, where would I be worth here compared to those 2 points? And here. And pretty much here, as well as right now. You'd be worth a lot more here than you would have been here. It's safe to say you'd be worth a lot more here than you were, well, I guess whatever in the sense of how you look at it. Or one way of looking at it is when markets go down, of course, you would be selling what the second one is, which would be Theta. So you would own a lot more Theta here than you would here, with the price of Theta overperforming the Bitcoin Cash. And you'd have a lot more, of course, of such in that BCH. And every single time the markets are moving, it's like, yeah, I don't care where the market goes, if it goes up or down for its next move. But the basis upon everything is it's my job to understand long term. Is this a winner or a loser for these coins? For that's where the the smart does it win or does it lose? Because anytime you do ratio trading, you can flip them back and forth, and over a period of time, maybe you double the ownership of each coin. Say just after whatever trade point, it's equal to 2x. You've doubled the ownership. Might even take if it's low volatility. That's all you might get. But if all you get is 2x in a year, that's fascinating, and even still. And it might take 16 months to get a 2x doing this. But if that's what you get, and the market goes down 65% on average each, you're losing. Heck, you could do a 3x or 3.5x, and the markets go down over 90% against its number. And when you play coins that have volatility in it, and I think Theta's a very good candidate for it as well, as one of the really top ones, then that's going to make the even lower volatile coins have just that itself. So in this case, you see a market that has a price point go from like 71 down to under 667. So let's figure out its entire volatility within this spot. It could be higher, and it probably will be in time, but right now it is a little over 10 to 1 as far as that number. That number is not anything majorly spectacular, but whenever you have, again, these up and down moves, I showed the entire example of how you would have been trading it from one of these earlier points back in here. And of course, we can see when spots like this happen, like again, your theta ownership is just low. But then your theta ownership here is much, much higher. Again, much higher than it was in here. Most certainly. Because when you're able to, and then when you have spots with fantastic moves, because there was a couple on there that were just enormously amazing. Like this one here, 34.90 down to 21.32. Oftentimes it becomes sort of repetitive and how a lot of this is done. Okay, it's 25% move over and over. I'm selling this much. It's easy. But then you get to a spot where it goes down in here, and then you're like, if you take an aggressive stance here, you see it worked out perfect for you. And I mean by an aggressive stance where you made a major sale amount. If you sold all of your theta when it was 21.32, and then you start accumulating them back, as you can see, it goes up to 27 and then the 37 again. And of course, how much you distribute here compared to how much you accumulate back in here would be very important, because you're going to run into the same decision again. And if you come in and you think somewhere between, say, 1,400 and 1,000, that it was way too much, that's down too much. At 12.50, I'm getting out of everything. And it goes to 7.22. So you were wrong in the bottom. Well, the price is 25.41 now. So if you don't pick the top or the bottom, oftentimes you're kind of still dead and you still get your profit if you're ever trying to make any of those types of aggressive plays. Because if a market goes way down or way up too much, well, then it becomes to a level of perspective. How right are you? And how close are you going to be? For if you could have a situation where maybe Theta has a run that is just, oh my goodness, I can't believe this just happened. And that might be the equivalency of Theta having like a 20, 30x move. Which, if we were to divide this by 30, well, dividing it by 25 would get us to 100. So now it goes down to, say it's hypothetically, there's that kind of move. It goes to like 60 or 70. And you thought as it was going down to here at 750, it was down too much, or 500. And next thing you know, maybe the highest it ever comes back to again is 582 or 600, because it goes down here, maybe it comes up here, and that's always a possibility. But generally speaking, if you're right and both coins do well, they're each gonna have their moments in their sun, and they're both gonna be facing knockout punches in a boxing ring kind of deal where they get their asses kicked, and the other's watching one have fun or get their asses destroyed. Okay, well, while that's happening, that's obviously always going to affect how a lot of these coins move. Now, as far as like the short-term volatility in here, I mean, this is just wild. Some of these moves that we can have, and just the up and down swings. Now you're going to have this with the Bitcoin crosses, with all this stuff too. But 3,100 down to 27, at 10, 8% moves. That's all you're getting on this time frame from a high to a low. But as we've seen before, sometimes you wait like 40 days before a trade comes in. The average, again, was a better part of 2 weeks, I think. And therefore, sometimes that's just part of the game. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye bye.